All right, so what is a graduate student? I want to talk about that. So if you don't know me, I am Professor Dave Maslach. I'm an Associate Professor of Innovation Strategy and Entrepreneurship. And I created this whole reciprocity project to give back as much as I possibly can. There's so many people who help me out that I want to pay the favor for to help you out. So I created this sharing economy editing platform. Go check that out. You get feedback, all sorts of stuff, building all sorts of features on it. Okay, what is a graduate student? So graduate students are really talking about anybody that has finished undergraduate education, or in the United States have come to determine that's college, right? So the 4 to 5 years that you have where you do a bachelor's degree, and then you go into a graduate education starts when you are doing a master's or a PhD or doctorate, some sort of thing. So there's a lot of graduate programs that are professional programs like an MBA or a nursing program, or even some law programs that they're really geared towards much more of the professional side of things, but then there's kind of like a research side of things too, which tend to be like a PhD or something along those lines, or research-oriented master's program. There's lots of those as well, right? So I did my master's, and my master's of applied science was really just research-oriented master's program. And then I did a PhD, which was really focused on research in terms of writing research, of trying to get some insight about the world. So what are the key differences between graduate school and undergraduate programs? Honestly, not a lot changes. It's all about reading, writing, and arithmetic. That is definitely going to go on. However, that there is some real distinct differences, I think. So a key thing is the sort of level of understanding in the material that you actually have to do. It is going to be a lot more intense than you think it's going to be. So a graduate level course is usually like 2 undergraduate courses in terms of the level of work that's involved. So just kind of expect that. And a full course load is probably about 4 graduate courses. Whereas undergraduate, I would say 5 or 6 are pretty reasonable. 6 is getting a lot. I've done that before in my undergraduate program, but it's doable. You just have to study all the time. Another key thing that I think is really important that that you're going to forget about is that there's a selection effect that happens. And a lot of people in undergraduate programs today, maybe it was different 50 years ago or whatnot, but today they don't care about being there. You can really see it. It is really not, they truly do not care. And they're there just to get that diploma because that is what, institutionally is required in the workplace right now. And so they cash out, they play, just do nothing. However, in a graduate program, you are there. Most of those folks are there genuinely because they want to be there. And this matters like exponentially. It is a lot more fun of an experience. It is actually, most graduate programs are people actually working towards something. It is, tends to be that sort of competitive nature that happens with that, which is like, I don't like it. However, people do care, and it's a lot more funner of an experience. A third thing is that a lot of research programs or a lot of graduate programs really emphasize research and focusing on research. So whether it's you're in a professional program, you're going to be reading about research, or in a PhD or a research-oriented master's degree, it is going to be really focused on creating that knowledge. And that is a really important thing to think about, creating that knowledge. And those are really different than what you're going to be feeling in undergraduate programs, which is just, a lot of more higher order work, and it's overwhelming and a lot of work, but however, it is not to the same degree. You're not going to sort of notice that distinction until you start taking that deep dive, and then you're going to realize, man, it's really hard to do this. There's lots of uncertainty. I don't know what I'm doing. I have to put in all this work. There's a lot of questions that come up when you go into graduate school, and everybody that's done it completely understands what is going to go on and what they're going through. So, a fourth thing is that sometimes you actually get paid to do graduate school in various different forms, like RAs and TAs and stuff like that, I was able to fund my entire graduate school. I had some debt at the end of it, and which was horrendous. I hated it, but it, for the most part, was able to fund most of it to a certain degree. Professional programs are a lot different, right? So an MBA is going to be very costly. They make money. Universities make money off those things, so they tend to push the boundary as much as they can in terms of raising, how much money that they can get. That funds the engine, right? So a lot of MBA programs, for example, are 50, probably getting upwards of $70,000 a year at this moment in their 2-year program. So, that they are a lot of money, but they're worth it, right? There's a return on investment generally for most of those kind of programs that cost that much money. However, be skeptical, really look at brand name and things like that. That matters beyond what you'd ever going to imagine, especially if you're spending that much money. If, you don't care, or, you're tight for a budget and you're a normal person, you're tight for a budget. Just go for, cheap, reliable, good graduate school, whatever that might be, that people know. If you told somebody, they'd be like, oh yeah, I get it. I know what that school is about. If not, if you don't do that and you go to some private institution that nobody knows about, that is really expensive, it's going to be wasting your money. I almost bet my dollars to donuts on that. And anybody that talks to you and that's kind of in higher education is going to tell you that privately, not publicly. All right, give me a thumbs up, do subscribe to the YouTube channel, take care, and have a wonderful day. Bye.